So I'm standing outside the Electric Theatre in Guildford on a beautiful July summer's afternoon, and yet 30 odd people are going to be spending the next 11 or 12 hours in there, essentially in the dark. So why do they do it? The show is called Tango Tells a Tale, and it's a fairy story told in dance with no dialogue. It's performed by a group of some 30 amateurs, led by Brazilian-born Flavio de Brito, who's the director of the show and also the dance teacher of the classes that they attend in Portsmouth, Chichester and Guildford. This year, the show starts at the Electric Theatre in Guildford, then moves to Chichester and finishes at the New Theatre Royal in Portsmouth. And it's a fairy story. Previous shows that have been running since 2005 every 2 or 3 years have showcased the dances, of course, but they've also tried to tell a little bit of history of tango and of Argentina. But this year, it's a fairy story.
Not everybody knows about the history of tango, but I just thought to do something that you wouldn't expect to go and watch in a tango show, because tango is dark, fairy tales are dark, so that's why I thought to do something different that nobody else has done.
Rehearsals have been going on for many months in church halls and dance studios. Nobody makes any money from the show, and in fact the cast help to cover the costs.
Yes, it pays for the insurance and the hire of the hall.
And some of them travel long distances every week to get there. The show is a mixture of group dances that require coordination and, of course, a lot of practice. And there are also featured dances with the more experienced dancers. The story is told without any dialogue, so of course there's a lot of drama involved.
This is the best part because Flavio didn't give me a whole lot to do with it, and so I got to make up most of that myself, and so it was really fun to make some sense out of it, and it was really joyful to do. A lot of the music that he picks is intentional, and so it's giving me the storyline. You show interactions between people and why they are important, and do it without words. It really kind of works, and that was lovely.
Not everyone can make every rehearsal, so sometimes people find themselves dancing with the air instead of their partners. From time to time, injuries can occur as well.
Fully in the moment, and then for whatever reason our balance went and my foot in my stilettos beautifully rolled over. But yeah, I just had to wear trainers, I was taking it easy to marking it through, and then my partner was the one whizzing around so she could see placement of where we were going.
Some of the cast take on other roles as well.
It's not just sort of turning up, getting on the stage and performing. You've got to get all the gear together, and you've got to take it there. When you get there, you've got to unload it. And everybody mucks in.
People did props, some people did the marketing part, some people did the photograph part.
So why do they do it then?
Why do we do these performances? To be honest with you, it's more of a community thing. It's just something to show what we've been learning in our regular classes. But for a lot of us, it's also to challenge ourselves because, you know, we're not naturally on stage, we're not professional performers. So to get our head up there and see how a show's put together and to see how everything works, and then, you know, to be centre stage with everyone watching you, it's nerve-wracking. But it's also, when you look back, you know, you think, wow, an achievement.
We've become a very close-knit group of friends. So
We meet once a week, all through the winter. We do about 4 hours on a Sunday. So it's a huge commitment. And people love to do it, but the first time they do it, they don't have a clue. Because especially with a partner dance, it's all very well, okay, it's a rehearsal, I can't go. If you've got a partner and you've let that person down,
So nearer the show, it all becomes weekly. And then very near the show, it becomes twice a week. And there's lots of practicing in, kitchens and front rooms and gardens and what have it in between times. People get together and yes, I mean, I've practiced, I think, every single night for about the last month, I think.
I think the whole point of this show is for amateur. It's for people who would like to either have an experience or improve their dance skills, and also show everybody else outside that they can do.
The show actually gives you something to work towards rather than just go to dance class every week. So this actually gives us a purpose.
It's 4 years since the previous production. This one's been in the making for longer than usual because it was interrupted by COVID.
From when we very first started, Flavio had a few ideas and he said, would we like to go along for some guinea pig rehearsals just to try out? And this was all pre-COVID.
It's been really difficult for the last 2-3 years for the pandemic, for example, for the COVID. Everything went online because of the pandemic.
And then we restarted last autumn.
Flavio designs the choreography to use the wide range of abilities of the cast. He also has this nifty trick of reusing dances from previous shows.
I reused some of the numbers from previous. I had to rethink of them, to trying to fit them into the storyline. For example, the chair dance that we have, that it fits very well in the previous show because there's a repression. So I thought, how can I put that in again, because it's a good dance that people like. I thought they could be witches. I had to rethink where to put them. Hopefully it makes sense. It's just that I don't want to lose, basically.
So what are the difficulties about producing such a show as this?
The most difficult part, I think, is put the show to get on the stage, because nowadays it's so expensive. Everything is so expensive. So I think that's the most difficult part. The creative part of it is difficult, but you can work with it. But when it comes to the financial part of it, is the harder part. The best part of doing the shows, I think, process of practicing, trying to get everything right, trying to be in a good level. When I think the show gives you a little bit of something to work for. So I think that, for me, that's the best part of it.
Several of the dances are men dancing with men. Strictly Come Dancing might think it's groundbreaking in this respect, but Argentine tango was originally danced between men because there weren't enough women to go around.
Originally it was danced by men only, basically. So, and we are probably one of the first same-sex Argentinian tango couples here in the UK. And Argentinian tango, not really about ballroom or other dances, but at the beginning we kind of like, everybody was a bit shocked, because that was 2007, 2008, so it was long ago. Now the TV thinks that's doing something new, but actually this has been going on for a long time. Recently we decided to take part of the tango competition in London. And we won the UK Tango Cup.
On the morning of the show, work has to start very early, rigging the lighting. This, of course, has to be done for every venue. In the afternoon, the props arrive. And then it's time up in the control room to start checking out each of the lighting cues.
But with no light on.
Yeah, no worries. I'll take the go bar off as well. Yeah.
Yay!
Cool. Right.
There are often technical problems on the day, like this hired projector that was meant to be mounted above the front of the stage, but in the end had to go round behind and back project, which meant that the sound and vision control position, instead of being in the control room, was actually at the back of the stage, working totally blind. Before the rehearsals begin, the stage is marked out so that the action takes place exactly where the lighting wants it to be.
You may or may not know where you need a spot. The 4 yellow ones, so 1, 2, 3, 4, are the chairs. And so the chairs sit directly on top. So if I was a chair, that's where it would go. So 2 legs, 2 legs.
I think we have the chairs, but we could have the tables.
Yeah, I'll get
whatever is left.
On the end of the act, I can help with whatever.
Can you just do from the end of the Americano?
Then there are several hours of rehearsal to allow everyone to become familiar with that particular venue and to add a bit of final polish. Things like the snow machine have to be tested as well. And scenes with complicated lighting changes have to be run through. Oh, and there's the smoke machine too. With the rehearsal finally over, the stage gets reset and the cast go off to the dressing rooms. And of course there's makeup to be done. And spirits are high before the performance. There's no curtain, so the stage is set ready for scene 1 as the audience start to arrive. The stage manager and the technical desks are now ready for the performance to begin. But there's always one skeptic.
Guarantee tonight something will go wrong.
The show opens with a group dance, giving most of the cast the opportunity to show off the results of all those months of rehearsal. And there'll be quite a few group dances throughout the show, with different routines to remember and lots of costume changes before. These dances are unquestionably tango and just what you'd expect, but there's quite a lot of choreography that's quite unexpected as well. And who would have thought you could dance tango in ballet shoes? And that chair dance that Flavio has upcycled from previous shows, that gets fitted in too. That intricate footwork we saw in rehearsals pays off. Of course, Flavio and Richard get a chance to show off their championship dance. It's not all couples dances either. There are plenty of showcase dances that most people think of as Argentine tango, with that strong frame and lots of legwork and kicks. And it's not always Flavio doing the leading, because this gives an opportunity for some of the more experienced dancers to show off their expertise. It's not all serious stuff either. There's a bit of jesting at the expense of the royal party. There's some play on those leg kicks in tango called ganchos, if they're misplaced. And the witch has a bit of fun when she uses her magic to make the king and his men look pretty foolish. As we've already said, there's a lot of unspoken drama in this fairy story, the witch in particular wreaking havoc in the forest and in the court. There's some real mayhem towards the end. But we won't tell you what finally happens to the king. So, as the virtual curtain falls, Flavio feels there's added value in the show.
The youngest is like 14 and the oldest probably about almost 18, and everybody can do it. I think that's one of the highlights of the show, that the people are saying, oh, you know, I can probably do that. I can go to a class and learn that, you know. If they can do that, I can do that. I have now some students who saw the show information, I'm gonna watch. And now they come to my classes.
So, how was it for the performers?
You know, at the time, you're so busy thinking, please don't fall over, did I get all my steps right? But sometimes you don't always hear the applause, but then when you watch the videos back later, like, oh my God, I love this. You think, wow, what an achievement.
I'm an actress, and this is my first show dancing, and it was very different. I'm not used to that. I'm like a beginner dancing, and there are a lot of things that I still need to improve. I have a list, still a long list of things to improve for the show, but I didn't have time because I'm very perfectionist as well.
I would really love to do this again. I'd like to do more dancing. I'd like to get good enough to feel like I could do one of the solo parts or something like that. But yeah, I'd love to do this again.
So that's the last night of the show over, and the culmination of months and in some cases years of dedication and hard work, and of course all that camaraderie in the process. Well, I think we know why they do it, but was it worth it? Well, I think we should give the audience the final say.